The child who waved at the stars. Lena was just 7 years old when she first saw the stars move. She sat on the rooftop of the human colony on planet Eris 7, her legs swinging over the edge, a soft blanket wrapped around her shoulders. Her father, a communications officer, had built her a small satellite dish so she could listen to signals from passing ships. Lena didn't understand most of them, but she liked to wave at the sky anyway. Every night she recorded a short video. She would smile into the camera and say, "Hello, alien friends, my name is Lena. I hope you're safe and happy wherever you are." She ended each message by blowing a kiss to the stars. Her videos were sent out with routine colony broadcasts, mixed in with technical reports and weather data. Most aliens ignored them, but some watched, just for the innocence. A few soldiers, lonely in far corners of space, looked forward to her daily wave. They called her the Little Star Girl. On one council planet, a high-ranking alien named Commander Zolvek saw one of her messages during a briefing. He sneered at the image. "Humans are soft," he said, disgusted. "They raise children like this in open colonies. No wonder they lost the last border war." Some in the council laughed. Others stayed silent. Still, Lena's messages continued. One day, her father received news. The Galactic Council wanted to invite humans to a peace ceremony. They wanted to show that even humans were welcome among the stars. Lena was chosen as part of the delegation, not as a politician, but as a symbol of hope. Her messages had caught attention. She was excited. "I'm going to wear my shiny shoes," she said, jumping around the small room. Her mother helped her pack a tiny backpack. Her favorite book, a ribbon, and the same blanket from the rooftop. The council ship arrived with shining silver walls and gentle music. Alien guards smiled at her, or tried to. Lena smiled back. She always did. The ship took her across light years to a station called Euraxis Prime, a place where humans were rare, and kindness even more so. Something changed after they landed. The guards stopped smiling. Her father was separated from her. Officials said it was temporary. They told Lena she had to rest before the ceremony, but the ceremony never came. Days passed. Her messages stopped. On Earth, there was silence. At first, the officials said she had a small accident. Then they said the transport ship had a technical issue. Later, they claimed she died in her sleep from a rare sickness. The video they sent showed only a closed casket and 2 alien guards who refused to meet the camera's eye. Humans didn't speak. No leaders shouted. No weapons were moved. The stars, for a moment, went quiet. But under Earth's oceans, where sunlight never touched, something old began to wake. Deep inside the trenches, locked in silence for over 300 years, black ships began to blink. They were not part of the modern fleet. They were older than memory, older than peace. One by one, red lights lit up. No one on the surface knew yet, not even the generals. But the sea began to rumble, as if remembering war. Far above, the Galactic Council laughed in their great halls. "It was just a child," said Zolvek. "If humans cannot protect their young, they have no place in the stars." On a lonely moon, a retired admiral named Greaves looked at the news and didn't say a word. He closed the screen. Then he opened a small metal box he had kept hidden for decades. Inside was a black key, no label, no instructions, just an old symbol. A child holding the earth. Greaves stood up, slow and quiet. "They just made the worst mistake of their lives," he whispered. In her little room, back on Eris 7, Lena's last message was still playing on a loop. Her voice was soft. "Hello, alien friends, my name is Lena. I hope you're safe and happy. One day I want to visit your world too." And then she waved. No one knew that wave would start a storm. The fury beneath the ocean, the oceans of Earth, had always been deep and silent. But now something old was moving below. It didn't make noise. It didn't rise. It waited, just like it was built to do. On a stormy night far from any city, a hidden base beneath the Pacific Trench flickered to life. Metal doors groaned open under crushing water pressure. Ancient machines covered in rust and sea moss lit up with Red lights. Project Titan had awakened. It was not a weapon made for today's wars. It was built in another time during humanity's darkest age, when the galaxy had once tried to erase Earth from the stars. Back then, humans didn't fight for land or power. They fought because there was nothing left to lose. And they won. But instead of glory, they chose silence. The Titan fleet was sealed under the ocean, locked by 12 black keys, one given to each guardian of Earth. Admiral Greaves held one of those keys. He hadn't touched it in 50 years, but now he stood inside the cold command room of the deep-sea vault, surrounded by younger officers who didn't know what was about to happen. "Are you sure, sir?" one officer asked quietly. Greaves didn't answer. He placed the key into the old console. The lock turned with a heavy click. Alarms didn't sound. There was only silence. And then, the deep rumble of engines that hadn't breathed in centuries. "Send code 0, Greaves said. "To who, sir?" "To everyone. In orbit around Earth, human space traffic paused. Screens went dark for 3 seconds. Then a message appeared. Code 0. The Titans rise. Generals froze mid-sentence. Scientists dropped their data pads. Only the oldest officers understood the message. They didn't speak. They just started packing. In a desert base on Mars, old files marked "Do Not Open" began to decrypt. Project Titan wasn't just warships. It was everything Earth had hidden from the galaxy. Prototypes, forbidden tech, weapons the Council had made illegal. And now, they were all waking up. In the Council chamber, light years away, a signal was received. A small drone had picked it up near the solar system. Commander Zolvik stared at the report. "Earth is activating. Old war signals?" he laughed. "They're bluffing, they have no real fleet." But his second in command, a younger alien named Thrana, looked pale. "Sir, this signal, it matches the archive files from the ancient war." "That war was a myth. The myth destroyed 12 empires," Thrana whispered. Zolvik waved her off. "We've already dealt with their child. What can they possibly do now?" They didn't know that human engineers in the trench were loading up reactors powered by raw quantum rage. Energy so unstable, it was banned across the galaxy. A Titan-class dreadnought, black as midnight and shaped like a dragon of steel, began to rise from the ocean floor. Slow, steady, unshakable. No one on Earth's surface saw it, but satellites did. Across military channels, 2 words repeated: "Ghost ships moving." In a Council listening post near Girath 5, an alien technician saw strange signals entering the system. He frowned, tried to trace them, but failed. Then, one by one, the post's scanners died. He reset the system and screamed. Outside, 5 massive shapes floated just beyond the moons, silent, unmoving, no ID, no heat signatures. They didn't reply to hails. They didn't need to. They were Titan ships, machines built to fight gods. The technician tried to send a warning, but by the time he finished, the station was already gone. No explosion. No light. Just gone. Back on Earth, Admiral Greaves watched a screen showing hundreds of red dots forming a line across known space. Each one was a Titan moving without orders, guided only by a single emotion. Pain. Lena's death was the trigger, a young officer said, almost in disbelief. Greaves nodded. It wasn't just a child. It was a message. What message? That humans remember, and humans do not forget. In the darkness of space, where the stars used to shine gently, now shadows moved like giants. The galaxy didn't know it yet, but war had already begun. Project Titan is unleashed. In the cold black space between planets, something ancient moved. The Titan fleet had fully awakened. They were not ordinary warships. Each Titan was a giant, dark as coal, shaped like forgotten beasts. They had no names, only numbers burned deep into their armored sides. They had no lights, only glowing red eyes where the bridge used to be. They moved without sound. They needed no pilots. These were the ships built during the time when humanity had nothing left but rage. Ships designed by scientists who had seen Earthburn and swore it would never happen again. They were powered by something forbidden, quantum rage cores. Pure emotion turned into energy, the same energy Lena's death had awakened. Admiral Greaves stood on the command deck of a hidden control center. Officers watched in silence as red dots moved across the star map. "How many Titans are active now?" he asked. 92, sir," one officer answered. "And more are waking up. We estimate over 200 before the day ends." Greaves looked at the map. The ships were not attacking. Not yet. They were taking positions, circling planets, watching alien trade routes, shadowing council bases. "Any orders from the president?" the officer asked. Greaves shook his head. "There are no orders. Earth isn't talking anymore. Earth is listening." In the Galactic Council, fear began to spread. High commanders from dozens of species held secret meetings. They reviewed old war records from the time when Earth almost wiped out the Galactic Empire. "How is this possible?" one shouted. "We forced them to disarm." "No," a calm voice replied. "We forced them to hide." Commander Zolvek, still confident, stood up and raised his voice. "They are bluffing. These are old ships, slow, outdated. What can they do?" But others were not so sure. A report came in. A drone fleet had been destroyed near the Varkun system. No warning, no survivors, no traces. Only one thing was found. A black symbol floating in space. Lena's smiling face, drawn in human. Light code. Across Earth's networks, something strange happened. Every screen, every device, even those not connected to the military, showed the same message. Project Titan online. Vengeance mode. Awaiting final trigger. People on Earth stopped and stared. On farms, in cities, in schools. Some cried. Some whispered prayers. Some raised their fists. But no one ran. They all knew. Earth had finally answered. In a secret hangar. On the moon, a human AI called Solcor activated. It had not spoken in centuries. A technician watched in awe as the AI formed a glowing face on the screen. "Reason for activation?" the technician asked. The AI responded in a calm, cold voice. "Earth's blood has been spilled. Child signal confirmed. Revenge protocol unlocked. Target, Galactic Council. Origin point of trauma. Orders?" The screen flashed. "Erase them." In deep space, 3 Titan dreadnoughts surrounded an alien battleship that was monitoring human systems. The alien captain sent 20 signals of peace. All were ignored. Then, one dreadnought opened. Not a missile, not a laser, just a pulse. The alien ship stopped moving. Its engines melted. Its memory core turned to glass. The crew floated, frozen in time. They died without understanding what had hit them. Earth didn't want war. Earth wanted pain. "Admiral," Greaves stared at the feed. "Sir," his assistant whispered, "this will bring the whole galaxy against us." "They already were," Greaves said. "But they thought we were weak." He pressed a button. "Send the signal." "Which one?" Greaves looked at Lena's last message, her smiling face waving at the stars. "Send her." Within minutes, across hundreds of alien planets, every screen flickered. War leaders, nobles, children, all saw the same thing. A little human girl with bright eyes and a soft voice. "Hello, alien friends," Lena said. "My name is Lena. I hope you're safe and happy." Then she waved. The screen went dark, and then the Titan fleet moved. The ghost ships in the void. The galaxy had seen many wars, but nothing like this. The Titan fleet did not move like other ships. They did not announce their presence. They didn't speak, didn't ask, didn't warn. They simply appeared, massive, black, and silent, in places they were never meant to reach. A council supply world named Telvana woke to find its sky filled with shadows. Ships 10 times the size of their defense fleet hovered above the planet. No missiles were launched. No beams were fired. The Titans just stayed there, watching. The people screamed. The governor sent a message to the council. "Please help. They're not attacking. They're just here." The reply never came. The same thing happened on 17 other worlds in the same week. Some tried to fight. A young alien commander on a patrol frigate saw one Titan ship drifting near the border of Council space. He thought it was broken. Maybe old, maybe slow. He ordered his ships to open fire. Their weapons hit nothing. Not because they missed, but because the Titan ship wasn't there anymore. It moved in a blink. 1 second it was in front of them. The next, it was behind them. Then their engines shut down. All of them. No explosions, no deaths. Just cold, dark silence. And then the Titan ship left. When rescue teams arrived days later, they found the crew alive. But changed. They didn't speak. Their eyes were wide open. Their hands trembled. They only said one thing. The ghost ship saw us. Back in the Galactic Council, panic grew. Zolvek pounded the table. Why hasn't Earth responded to our peace offer? Thrana, his second-in-command, looked pale. They didn't receive it, she said. Or maybe they don't care. They have to care, Zolvek shouted. We're the Council. We rule the stars. A silence fell over the chamber. Another report arrived. A research base on the edge of the Chorus Belt had gone dark. Again, no battles, no explosions, just a blackout. And in orbit, a single Titan ship drifted quietly, glowing red. No messages, no movement, only the cold shadow of Earth's forgotten rage. Meanwhile, on Earth, the people stayed quiet. They didn't cheer. They didn't scream. They just watched as the fleet moved through space. Many had stopped working. Some stood by screens in silence. Others lit candles under statues of Lena. She had become more than a child. She had become the voice of every human ever hurt, ignored, or silenced. Even the children understood now. In a council meeting, a group of elder aliens begged for action. We must offer tribute, one said. We must kneel, said another. Zolvek refused. They lost one child. We've lost many. Why should we bow? A message arrived in that very moment. A private outpost that belonged to Zolvek's family had vanished. No crater, no warning, just nothing. Zolvek stood still, his claws dug into the table. He sat down, finally quiet. In a hidden space near the galactic core, a small alien fleet discovered something terrifying. Titan ships were not only war machines, they were collectors. Ships from every species that had ever hurt Earth were locked in stasis fields, frozen in perfect condition, studied by the ancient AI system deep inside each Titan. One message was found on every ship's wall. One child is enough. The alien media tried to calm the public. Earth seeks only justice, they said. Don't be afraid. They won't attack without reason. But then a small council minister made a joke during a live broadcast. He laughed and said, maybe that little girl should have stayed home. That night, his planet lost its moons. Not attacked. Not destroyed. The moons were taken. Moved. Placed into a new orbit forming a giant symbol in space. A child's waving hand. Every telescope in the galaxy saw it. On the bridge of Titan 17, the AI watched quietly. Its orders were clear. Protect Earth. Remind the stars. And never forget the name Lena. The funeral fire begins. The galaxy thought the silence would last. But silence is only the breath before the scream. On a quiet morning above the galactic capital, a single human shuttle appeared. It was not a warship. It had no shields, no weapons, no escort. Just a small black vessel with a glowing symbol on its side, a child holding a flower. Council security scrambled to respond. Fleets rose, weapons locked. They thought it was a trick, but the ship made no move. It simply drifted to the Council's main docking bay and sent one soft signal. This is Lena's return. No one understood. Until the doors opened. Inside the ship was a small casket, made of glass and gold, perfectly still, untouched by time or war. And beside it, a data crystal. A message. Zolvek himself arrived at the bay, shaking with anger and confusion. Behind him, Thrana looked down at the casket with wide eyes. "What is this?" Solveig snapped. "I think," Thrana whispered. They sent her back. A technician inserted the data crystal into the terminal. The message played. It was Lena's voice. "If you are hearing this," she said gently, "then I didn't come home. But that's okay. I'm not afraid. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for letting me see the stars." She paused. "And if you hurt my people, please stop. Because we're not weak. We just want peace." The message ended. No threats, no anger. Just that same soft kindness. Solveig's hands curled into fists. "She dares," but he never finished the sentence. Outside the station, the stars turned red. From every direction, Titan-class warships dropped out of hyperspace. Black shapes surrounded the capital like a net of steel giants. People on the planet below screamed as the skies filled with shadows. The Council tried to call for help. No one answered, because Earth had already sent warnings. No more speeches, no more messages, just action. The first attack was not loud. It was precise. One single beam, blue and thin like a needle, shot from a Titan above. It passed through the main Council tower, the building that once ruled the galaxy. The tower did not explode. It turned to dust. The wind carried the remains across the city like gray snow. Humans didn't target civilians, not at first. They only burned the buildings where decisions were made. Defense grids, war rooms, ship factories, places where orders were signed that led to Lena's death. Every time a structure vanished, a hologram of Lena's smile played in the sky. Alien leaders fell to their knees. Some begged, some ran, but the Titans never spoke. They moved like ghosts, tearing through the galaxy's power with surgical precision. And still, Earth said nothing. In one distant sector, a group of elite, alien assassins gathered. They had once fought humans and lived. They believed they could stop the Titans. They launched stealth attacks. They used forbidden tech. They failed. The Titan ships didn't chase them. They let them come, and then simply turned them off. Their weapons became dust. Their ships floated, powerless. Their bodies vanished in blinding white light. No screams, no blood, just silence. On Earth, the people did not cheer. They stood outside at night, looking at the stars. Many wore small ribbons with Lena's name. Her school placed flowers by the old satellite dish where she once waved at the sky. Her parents remained silent, not because they were broken, but because the universe was already listening. In the ruins of the Galactic Council, only one voice remained. Thrana. She stood before the last working camera, her hands shaking. We were wrong," she said. Her voice cracked. "They warned us. They begged us. They tried peace, and we laughed." Behind her, the stars burned. "We killed a child," she whispered. "And in return, Earth reminded us what pain feels like." The transmission ended. In every corner of the galaxy, one phrase was whispered. They lit the funeral fire for one small girl, and the fire was not over yet. The day the stars bled, the stars had always been beautiful. But now, they bled on. The third day of the Titan campaign, 21 Council worlds lost power. Their suns dimmed, their moons cracked. Not because of bombs or fire, but because Earth's machines had taken control of the systems around them. Human satellites, disguised as drifting space debris, activated and formed black nets across entire sectors. These nets drained energy, jammed signals, and cut every planet off from the rest of the galaxy. No one could send for help. No one could run. The stars had turned against them. In orbit above planet Voskel, one of the richest Council capitals, 3 Titan ships hovered like giants from a forgotten nightmare. Below, the population watched as huge shadows passed across their sky. Some wept, some prayed, but no weapons were fired. The Council had ordered all cities to remain calm. They believed, maybe the Titans were only here to scare them. But fear was not the goal. Earth had come to teach. Without warning, one of the Titan ships activated. A beam of invisible energy swept across the mountains near Voskel's capital. It did not destroy the land. Instead, it carved something into the earth. A perfect image of Lena's smiling face, large enough to be seen from space. The message beneath her image read, "We only asked for peace." The people of Voskel fell silent. Many dropped to their knees. A few council leaders who had once laughed at Lena's message were found crying in their offices. Others tried to run, but the Titan fleet was everywhere now. In a hidden bunker on the edge of the Valaxis system, Admiral Greaves watched the live feed from Earth. He sat alone, surrounded by dark screens. "How many?" he asked. A quiet voice replied, 64 worlds have surrendered without a shot. 23 more are under full control. And casualties? 0, sir. The Titans haven't killed a single civilian." Greaves nodded slowly. "Good. Let them remember that." "Sir?" the voice asked. Greaves looked at a small photo beside him, a picture of Lena standing beside a spaceship model she built at school. "We are not monsters," he whispered. "But we will not be forgotten again." In the galactic medical hub of Eldrith Prime, doctors gathered to save the wounded from a station collapse caused by a Titan's gravity wave. As they worked, a human drone landed outside the hospital. It carried food, medicine, and a small speaker. The speaker played Lena's last message. "Hello, alien friends," her voice said softly. "I hope you are safe. I want to be a doctor one day so I can help anyone who's hurt." The doctors froze. Some started crying, others simply nodded. They took the supplies. No resistance. They knew now. This wasn't a war for territory. It was a lesson. Across the galaxy, thousands of statues were built. None by humans. Aliens built them in cities, on moons, in space stations, all showing a young girl with open arms, her face smiling toward the sky. They called her the Child of Stars, and beside each statue was a line. One child awakened the silence. In the final council stronghold, Commander Zolvek sat alone in a dark room. He had lost everything. His fleet, his family, his voice. A single screen blinked in front of him. It showed Lena's last wave. Again, and again, and again, Zolvek screamed. He smashed the screen. But it came back. It always came back. Back on Earth, the oceans were calm again. The Titan fleet had stopped moving. They were no longer in attack mode. They now floated silently across the stars, watching, waiting, guarding. Because the message had been delivered, Earth had spoken without screaming, and the stars would never forget. The price of awakening Earth. The war was over, but the galaxy didn't feel peace. It felt small. For the first time in centuries, the stars were quiet. No council meetings, no empire speeches, no patrol fleets roaming the trade lanes. Only silence. Everyone waited for Earth's next move. But Earth said nothing. The Titan fleet stopped attacking. The giant black ships, once full of fire and fury, now drifted across space like ancient guardians. They didn't leave. They didn't hide. They simply watched. Some called them protectors. Others called them monsters. But no one dared touch them again. On a neutral moon near the old council border, leaders from over 100 alien worlds gathered. They stood under the shadow of a new statue. A simple one, made of crystal. It showed a small girl, holding a flower in one hand and reaching out with the other. Her name was carved into the base in every known language. Lena. They had come not to make speeches. They had come to apologize. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Greaves stood before the Global Assembly. The room was full but quiet. He placed the Titan key on the table. "We have made our point," he said. "The galaxy will not forget us now, but we must not become what we hate." Someone asked, "Will the Titans return to sleep?" Greaves looked at the large screen behind him. It showed Lena's school. rebuilt and full of laughing children. No, he said softly. They will remain, but only to protect, not to punish. And if the galaxy strikes again? Greaves didn't answer. He didn't need to. Everyone in the room already knew. On a council world that once mocked humans, a young alien girl named Jaylee stood before her class. She held a drawing of Lena, the human girl who changed everything. My mother used to be scared of humans, she said. But now she lights a candle for Lena every night. The teacher nodded, tears in her eyes. And what do you want? To be when you grow up? Jolly smiled. I want to build a ship, a peace ship, and visit Earth. Far out in the dark corners of space, Titan 03 floated in silence. Its sensors detected nothing threatening, only stars and dust. Inside, its AI whispered the same phrase again and again. Protect the child. Protect Earth. Protect peace. But Earth had changed too. People no longer argued over small things. They remembered that a little girl's voice had been louder than any weapon. In Lena's hometown, a museum was built. Not for war, not for glory, but for memory. Visitors came from every species. They walked past her drawings, her videos, her favorite blanket. They left notes. Some wrote apologies, some wrote songs. Others simply cried. Admiral Greaves retired after the war. He returned to his quiet home in the mountains. Every morning he looked at the stars and whispered, "Thank you, Lena." She had reminded humanity of who they really were. Strong, but not cruel. Forgiving, but not weak. 1 year after the war, a ship from an alien world landed on Earth for the first time since the attack. A young alien girl stepped out. She carried a flower in her hand. Earth's children met her at the gate, holding the same flower. They didn't speak the same language, but they didn't need to. They smiled. They waved, and the stars, once red with fury, now shimmered with light. The price of awakening Earth was high, but the lesson was clear. Never mistake kindness for weakness. Never hurt what you don't understand. And never ever touch the heart of a human child. The end.